But first, here at 11, we want to give you the latest on heavy rains. They did cause some problems as they came down across parts of Kentuckiana late today. This video showing you some of the flash flooding so fast the rain's causing in Salem, Indiana, just to our north. This is actually called Water Street, and you can see some cars are almost submerged. Several streets in Washington County, Indiana are still impassable tonight. Now, the Washington County, Indiana Sheriff's Department confirming to us that they've had 2 water rescues tonight due to the flooding, but we have been able to confirm, thankfully, no injuries there in Salem. And hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Doug Prophet. Let's get the latest right now from our chief meteorologist, Mallory Schnell. And Mallory, why was the rain so much more serious for southern Indiana than it was right here in Metro Louisville?
There were a few factors at play here. So we did have training of thunderstorms. That occurs when storms move over the same area, dropping quite a bit of rainfall. And we also just had very slow moving storms off to the north. Basically, north of Louisville, these areas were north of the main cluster of storms that was pushing through Kentucky. So there wasn't a lot of shear, there wasn't a lot of wind to guide these storms, so they stalled out at times, and they dropped several inches of rainfall. You can see in Washington County, especially just north and northeast of Salem. Thankfully, that flash flood warning was allowed to expire at 10 p.m. and they did not reissue it. You can see the Max HD radar, these oranges and reds pretty much flowing over that same area there between Paoli and Madison, dumping inches of rainfall, whereas the southern tier of showers and storms were a bit weaker and they pushed through a lot quicker this evening. Big picture view, we still have some showers on the backside of this system, so expect some scattered rain as we continue onward through tonight. Temperatures drop into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We could start off Saturday with some patchy fog, but looking to stay dry for the first half of the day tomorrow before some storm chances return yet again by the afternoon and evening. I'll be timing that out for you coming up in our extended forecast. Doug.
Thank you, Mallory. Now to our developing story on the night team. It's the Barstown Road Takeover, but this time organized by Metro Police, stopping another potential night of chaos in the middle of the street. Metro Police promised to be there early and in big numbers, and tonight we do know the police chief, Paul Humphrey, has been on the scene out there for hours tonight. WHAS 11 night team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester have been there since 5 o'clock tonight. They're joining us live now. Now, Clarice, how have things changed as it's been getting later? What have you noticed?
Well, Doug, I've seen patrol cars both unmarked and marked in the area, officers out talking to people and creating barricades. We're actually going to hear from LMPD Lieutenant Mason Brown in a second. But first, I did talk to people in the area about their thoughts on this elevated presence. Police lights on Bardstown Road, stationed right outside Highland Tap Room and Taco Bell. The scene of the new enforcement as police look to stop another massive street takeover from happening again.
The fight right there.
Last weekend, fights, chaos near the Taco Bell just before 3 in the morning. A takeover causing serious public safety concerns. 3 were arrested, including a 16-year-old girl.
Where are the parents? Why don't you know where your child is?
On this Friday night, thoughts about the city effort to stop another takeover.
Good work, good conversation.
And the talk at Wiggs Barbershop.
I think it's great. I feel like their presence is still cool, but it will help it out a little bit so they don't get out of hand and bother the businesses during the daytime.
For barber Travis Seawright, the presence is welcomed, especially if it helps customers feel comfortable to keep coming.
Give us a bad reputation on Barstown Road, therefore people don't want to come out or enjoy it because it's such a cool place. The Highlands is, it's nothing like it. So,
while people come out to enjoy the road on a wet Friday, police keep a low profile. They put together barricades to be put out later while private security talks to them.
Ultimately, I support it.
Just the presence is appreciated to some.
Me and some of my buddies towards the Walgreens had gotten to something a couple weeks ago, and obviously, you know, the police weren't there. Would have been great.
While others...
If you install the right values in your child, they're not going to be out here doing all this stuff.
They believe police are left to pick up the pieces of bad parenting.
Know where your child is and actually take responsibility for your child.
Regardless, safety is at the center of the conversation.
You know, I'm someone's uncle, son, brother, and I want to get back home.
So, Doug, we're with Commander of the 5th Division, Lieutenant Mason Brown. So, how are things going tonight? Do you expect any problems? What have you been hearing?
So far for the night, things are going very well. So we're prepared for this. We have numerous officers staged along the corridor here and the surrounding neighborhoods in marked cars and unmarked cars. So we're ready to respond to anything that occurs tonight.
So can you talk a little bit more about what that presence looks like? How big is it? Are they on side roads? What does that look like?
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, so like I said, we're staged along the Baxter and the Broadway corridor, Baxter and Barstown corridor. We have numerous officers and marked vehicles for our presence. We also have numerous officers in a plain clothes manner to ready to respond to any of the side streets or on the main corridor itself.
So will this continue tomorrow night? I know that Saturday night going into Sunday night is also a problem out here.
Yes, ma'am. We plan on continuing this all weekend and probably for the next few weekends as well.
All right, thank you so much for joining me. And again, police will be out here until 4 a.m. when all of the bars close. Doug?
All right, Clarice, thank you very much, and thank you to the commander there. A lot of good new information out tonight. Meantime, Metro Police announcing today that they've arrested 83 people over 2 days as part of a nationwide shoplifting blitz. The operation was conducted last Friday and Saturday and was coordinated with more than 100 law enforcement and retail partners. LMPD said the department was able to recover more than $8,000 worth of physical merchandise here in town and $51,000 in restitution to 16 retailers. And now only on the WHAS11 night team tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear hints about a possible run for president in 2028. But it's also coming as just last week, another Kentucky Democrat just switched over to the Republican Party. Despite Beshear's popularity, he hasn't been able to grow the Democratic Party in Kentucky. WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton talked with him in Frankfort about it one-on-one.
Are we a broken country right now?
I think that this country is struggling.
I threw 10 different questions at Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear about the speculation surrounding a potential 2028 presidential run and his not-so-subtle hints.
We'll see. I mean, what matters most to me is that I don't leave a broken country to my kids. And if I'm somebody that could bring people together and heal this country, then it's something I'll consider.
You've been speaking at Democratic fundraisers, you've traveled internationally, you're weighing in on national issues every week. Why shouldn't people believe that you have your eyes set on the White House at some point?
Well, I've been speaking out because I'm trying to set an example for not just the National Democratic Party, but hopefully for both parties.
In our one-on-one interview in Frankfort, Beshear did not give a timeline for his consideration, but made it clear it would have to be after 2026, when he'll lead the Democratic Governors Association, a massive test of whether his influence carries nationwide. As DGA chair, it's your job to get folks elected. Have you proven to this point that you're able to?
Yes.
How so?
Well, you look at different elections we've participated in around the country, whether that's the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, whether that's one of our Supreme Court races.
Some have scrutinized Beshear's national potential based on his inability to help Democrats other than himself win in an increasingly red state. Senator Robin Webb of Eastern Kentucky switching to the GOP last week, leaving no rural Democrats left in the Kentucky Senate. What do you say to Senator Webb, who says the Democratic Party here in Kentucky has left her?
I don't think any party has left Senator Webb. I think she's looking at future elections.
Democratic Senator David Yates of Louisville just announcing he's going to run for Jefferson County Clerk, potentially leaving an open seat. Does any of that fall on you, the fact that that number has dwindled?
Oh, I think we'd win that race, but at the end of the day, whether there are 5 or 6 out of 38 doesn't impact what's going on in legislation. We've gotten most of the agenda that I talked about.
And back to that possible run for the White House. One Democratic operative said you struck them as a great cabinet secretary. Their words, quote, just not exciting or interesting enough. Your response?
I've been underestimated before.
The governor is leaving his options wide open, but knows that decision on a presidential run would have to come well in advance of 2028. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
And by the way, we checked with Al Cross, the former longtime political columnist for the Courier-Journal and professor emeritus at UK. He told us that so far, the only Kentucky governor who has ever run for president was Happy Chandler, who got 36.5 votes at the 1956 Democratic Convention. New tonight, mistakenly deported. The Salvadoran native here, Kilmar Abrego Garcias, has been brought back to the United States. Garcia now facing criminal charges out of Tennessee for allegedly transporting undocumented migrants throughout the United States. The alleged conspiracy spanned nearly a decade and involved the domestic transport of thousands of non-citizens, including some children from Mexico and Central America. Among those allegedly transported were members of the MS-13 gang.
A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community.
Garcia, a Salvadorian native, has been living with his wife and children in Maryland. The Trump administration deported him in March to El Salvador's prison there, claiming that he was a member of MS-13. This despite a 2019 court order barring his deportation to the country. Garcia's family and attorneys deny that he has any affiliation with that gang, MS-13.